we'll be sharing with you the bare essentials to make your ideations and brainstorms Look, we all know that coming up with creative solutions and ideas is crucial for staying relevant. No wonder that we frequently get briefs like these. Please note that we are holding our Innovation Summit in the last week of April. On the second day, we want to spend half a day coming up with creative ideas for our new product development pipeline for the next 4 years. This is a very important session for us. Could you please send us a ballpark estimate of what it would cost? Now, the challenge with those briefs is they sound like they have no time and no money. Just so you know, that email was sent 2 weeks before the actual session. My guess is it was not the highest priority. Really? We tend to stay away from these, but we can also understand that sometimes you get a brief, you need to run an idea session, you have about a week's time and you have zero budget. Then these videos will be all about the bare essentials that you need to do at a minimum to make sure that you actually get something out of these sessions. We're going to be looking at 3 major chunks: understanding the brief, planning this session, and then running through everything. Let's have a look at that now. If you don't know where you're going, any path will take you there. The same goes here. Now, for the sake of this video, we're going to pick a challenge. Imagine that we have a bunch of stores and we've been tasked to come up with new ways to increase traffic to our stores. What I need for this is a notepad and a pen. We're going to step outside. All right, so at this point, I like to go for a walk. Because when I walk, it helps me relax my brain. And when my brain is relaxed, I can think better. The challenge was to increase traffic to our stores. Now, immediately, all kinds of thoughts come up into my mind. Some of these thoughts may be ideas. Let's say you bring a friend to the store, you get 10% off. Some will be assumptions. People don't want to go to stores anymore. They buy stuff online. And some will be questions. Want to increase traffic? Well, what's traffic like now? And where do you want to get it to? I just allow these thoughts and these ideas and these assumptions to roam around in my mind as I walk around. Now, I've brought my pen with me, got my notebook with me, but at this point, I don't write anything down. If you want, you can. I just allow my thoughts to roam freely. And after having done that for a while, I've got all sorts of questions in my mind. I'll find a nice quiet place and write some of these things down. All right, this looks like a perfect little spot. Write down some of these ideas, assumptions, and questions that you had during your walk. Because after this, you are going to fire these off at the brief owner. If you don't know who that is, most likely it will be the person, maybe there's more than one, who will be signing off on the project and who will be judging whether the ideas that come out of your session are going to be yay or nay. All right, so let's just start by writing down whatever we had on our minds before. What have you tried before? Is there a budget for this? What have we learned from past projects? Is there anything that we definitely cannot do? Who needs to be involved in the session? Who has got insights and knowledge of this brief? Are we looking at new shoppers or existing shoppers? Do you have any ideas on your mind already? How would you like us to present the ideas to you? What do you see as an output of this project? How are you going to measure success? By when do you want to see an increase in traffic? After this, you are going to fire these off at the brief owner. All you're going to do with them is what we call Q&A ping pong. You're going to fire off a whole bunch of questions and get their take on it. This is all about understanding the brief. So now you got a good understanding of the brief, it is time to plan the session. I like to do this on a big piece of paper. Some people like to use Excel. I'm not one of those people. Remember this one, 5 wives, 1 husband, okay? So on the left column, I want you to write down 5 W's, the 5 wives. Can't even write anymore. And the 1 H in the second column. The first W stands for the why. Why are you doing this session? The second one is the what. What do you want out of it? Third one is who. Who is going to be attending your session? Where are you going to be running this? You're going to be doing this in the office. Is it offsite? Is it in a meeting room? Is it in the pantry? And then finally, it is when. Well, in this case, we already said it, if it's next week, as we said in the beginning. Basically here you fill out the why, write a few lines here, the what. Now the second column is all about the how. And in here, I want you to write down all the chunks that are going to happen during your session, regardless whether your session is 3 hours long or 3 days long. There will be some form of introduction. Then there's probably something in there that says share the brief. Next bit, maybe you'll do ideas 1. You give people some stimulus. Let's say the stimulus then is some of your starter ideas that you had while you went for a walk. Maybe there's a creative tool that you can use. First round, you could do them individually. Ask people to write down as many ideas as they can within a minute. Let's say in the second round, rather than individual, you put them in groups of 4. And maybe in the last round, you put them into pairs. Plan your session, think it through what you want it to look like. Then I would have some form of kind of selection where you select the ideas that make sense. Here are the 5 filters. They have to be affordable, this is our budget. Doable, is this something we can actually do? Does it excite our shoppers? And 2 others. Based on that, you select a bunch of ideas. You come up with your top ideas. What I would then always do is I would always have some kind of refinement session where you then take the top, maybe 5, 6 ideas and give them back to the groups who want to work on them and then flesh out the detail a bit more. And there's some kind of ending, some kind of closing, where you tell people what's going to happen with these ideas and what the next steps are. And then here, in the third column, I've left a bit more space for details. Introduction, right? As you write down here, introduction. Here, I would get a lot more granular, get a lot more specific. You know, who's it going to be? What are they going to talk about? Second one, share the brief. Are you going to do this? Is somebody else going to do this? Is this going to be slides? Are you going to give them handouts? You're going to give them stuff before? What are you going to ask them? This is about being very specific about what you say, how you're going to say it, the materials you need. I need a pen here. I need slides there. I need a printout there. By doing some planning before, you're upping your chances of getting it right. So here you fill out all the other details. Now you've got a plan to work off. Now it's time to run through everything. Now, whether you're running this session by yourself or with somebody else, I'm a big fan of running through it as if people are already there in the room. And as you go, you take notes on Post-its about all the things that you need. Pretend that there's an audience right here in my living room, and I'll actually go through bits and pieces as we go taking notes. Thank you so much for coming. Ideas that will bring traffic to our stores. We're going to hear from Anna, who's the head of retail, who's going to tell us a bit more about what's going on in the stores now. Anna needs to be briefed. What's going to be in the slides, how long she's going to be talking. I need to know all those things before. I want you to pair up with somebody who you have not paired up with yet. And I want you to come up with 10 different ideas within 1 minute. You can see how that goes. It will probably get you into some detail which you may not have thought of while you were doing the paper, but they will come out now. I'll make sure that you have those things covered for your session.